mass adoption comes from when users don't have to think about how it works, what the back-end infrastructure looks like. You think about, if you compare the cycle of the adoption of the internet, some people say, oh, the internet kind of was born in the late 90s. It's like, well, actually, the internet was born in the early 70s in kind of a U.S. Department of Defense, ARPANET, and then it evolved in the 90s because it became a whole lot easier to use. You went from really defense and military to they added universities. Then along comes HTML and HTTP, and all of a sudden, and really SMTP, and all of a sudden it was now usable. And then you went through 20 or 30 years of growth that we're seeing and experiencing today, the internet as we know it. I think we're still in the 70s and 80s of blockchain and crypto. It's still, we all have this experience. It's still kind of hard to use. Often part of the transition from maybe more speculative retail into more institutional adoption and participation is the ETF step. Certainly, the Bitcoin ETF getting approved, the SEC was dragged kicking and screaming a little bit towards that outcome. But getting the Bitcoin ETF, I think, was a monumental event in terms of expanding the ability for others to participate, particularly institutional investors. So to me, I think I said then publicly that if people would ask me, is there going to be an XRP ETF? And I just look, it's inevitable that there will be an XRP ETF. And now I think I actually don't even know. I think there's 4 or 5 different filings here in the U.S. I know of at least one in Europe. And, I think it's great. I think it's, again, not surprising. I certainly hope that we'll see some of those approved soon.
You have called Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme. You've said that it's as useless as a pet rock. What do you really think?
You're going to have some kind of digital currency at one point. So I'm not against crypto. Bitcoin itself has no intrinsic value. It's used heavily by sex traffickers, money launderers, ransomware. So I just don't feel great about Bitcoin. I applaud your ability to want to buy or sell it. Just like I think you have the right to smoke, but I don't think you should smoke.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe
This technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the NWO book and the Crypto Teacher book. The NWO book shows you how the world really works, and especially in the times that we're in right now, it's definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep. And in 2025, the NWO is going to turn on that alarm clock. It's up to you whether you wake up or not, whether you're going to hit that snooze button. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. And guys, we're going to see stablecoin regulation, which is the foundation of this new digital economy. And it sets up down the road 2028, 2029 for that free money. And then also, of course, in the first quarter of 2025, we always get a correction. But we have trillions of dollars sitting on the sideline in money market accounts. And then plus, we know the Fed is going to cut rates. Not a lot this year, but they're definitely going to cut rates. So I see us getting a correction and then moving back up. And then we have the two powerhouses, China and the U.S., will step up these tariffs on each other. And of course, guys, that's going to hit certain parts of the market. But then we also have the hacks. We have the Birdman. We have the drums are beaten, and more movies to come, as we can see. And inflation is going to stay sticky, and layoffs are going to step up while they move in all this automation. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And right now we have Bitcoin and crypto pulling back, and overall the stock market is pulling back also. For stocks, we have the VIX rising. And guys, we see yield rates and the dollar are getting ridiculous. And then we had over 500 million in crypto liquidated in 24 hours. And don't forget this week, guys, it's the third Friday for stocks. So if you're a part of the Stock Patreon, make sure you're pulling up that calendar. And we definitely need to make sure we're paying attention to the actual indicators, because we're seeing again that 10-year yield getting close to that 5%. And then we also have the dollar still strong. So these yields high are weighing on stocks. And then we know the strong dollar is weighing on the emerging markets. Now we have volume and crypto up. We have Tether and USDC. And then we have Tether moves to El Salvador. And we see Tether moving to a safe place as we see regulation is starting to get its footing globally. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then, guys, we have the Fed. Repo at 178 billion on Friday. Make sure you're pulling that on a daily basis during the week. And we know the Fed wants to keep rates higher for longer in order to destroy this legacy market so the fourth industrial revolution can rise. Whether robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And we are 7 days towards Trump getting into office, and he already stated he's going to start early. Remember, guys, he only has 4 years to land us in this fourth industrial revolution, and he doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, and he has the House and Senate to make all the NWO's agendas come true. Now, I told you in the first quarter, we always get a pullback. We're seeing we're getting this pullback. The only thing they're doing is trying to price things in as Trump makes moves. And we're seeing all the central banks are starting to shrink liquidity. And we know what that does to Bitcoin and crypto. Those who've been in crypto for a while understand. If you follow my channel, you definitely understand. But we're going to continue to pump and dump as normal. Same thing with stocks. But remember, in the stock market, there's only certain sectors that are getting all the money. And that's commodities, energy, defense, and of course, 4IR. And I told you in 2025 and 2026, due to 4IR, we're going to see these layoffs pick up. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have the Bitcoin, Ethereum, spot ETFs, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale. Bitcoin, Ethereum, spot ETFs right now are down as I'm doing this video. Now we have BlackRock just launched a new Bitcoin ETF on CBOE Canada. And we had Canada start off. These spot Bitcoin ETFs didn't move the market, but as soon as BlackRock comes in, cryptos blast off. And then lastly, guys, we have Jamie Dimon sticks to the plan. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's used by criminals. But we know all about the fourth industrial revolution. And Bitcoin could easily be used as a checking account for the machines. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, these billionaires are going to stick to their narrative, whatever it is, because that's how you push the agenda, the Hegelian dialectic. You got to have a side against it. You got to have a side for it. That makes the people indecisive while they're moving towards the agenda. And guys, it's undefeated. It's the same as divide and conquer. Divide and conquer works because all you have to do is make one side think they're getting something, which they're not. And the other side know for a fact they're not getting nothing. And while the two are fighting, that's not getting anything out of the deal, the one who created the strife get to run the money in the back door. And it works every time. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we had Brad Garlinghouse confirm what I told you a long time ago in my book, told you a long time ago, that technology is tested in the military, then becomes seamless and brought to the masses. It's normally a 10-year manifestation period, but when you're talking about building a whole new economy, This one took 20 years to manifest, to come to reality. And Trump's job for these last 4 years is to land us in this fourth industrial revolution. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. But that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.